light blue skies above. The Dodgers and Rockies ready to finish up this weekend series, and we're glad that you're along for the ride. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo joins us in a moment. So far in this series, the Rockies have kind of turned the narratives on their head. The Rockies had struggled so much pitching, been great offensively, but the pitching has shut the Dodgers down with a pair of 3-1 wins. And it's a trend for the Dodger offense. The last 13 games, they've not been nearly as good as they were to start June.
Yeah, the month of June has been historic for them in the home run category. But if you go a little deeper, it's kind of misleading because the first 13 games, there was tremendous production. The last 13 games, there's really been a slump. And the wins of those 6 wins in the last 13 games, 5 of them when they get 2 or more home runs. So they rely on the home run. But of late, that's about all they're getting.
They've gotten really good starting pitching lately. Now, it hasn't mattered a lot of the time just because the bullpen has struggled and the offense hasn't been as good. And they've got a guy who's been very good as a starter all season going today in Ross Stripling.
They are on a roll as far as starters. Rich Hill, Kenta Maeda, and Ross Stripling has been very good for a long time, and especially here at home. When you look at Ross Stripling, he's one of the best strike throwers in the big leagues, gets ahead, and he really knows how to put people away.
Let's go down to the field now with Alana Rizzo, brought to you by El Pollo Loco.
Joe, there's been a bit of a shift in the depth chart at second base for the Los Angeles Dodgers with the way that Max Muncy has been swinging the bat. Look for him to get the bulk of time at second base, even though he's not a natural second baseman defensively. Kike Hernandez will always also factor in as far as that second base position is concerned. He might also be in the outfield because you can't take his bat out of the lineup either. As far as Logan Forsythe is concerned, he will still get some time against left-handed pitchers, but his playing time certainly has been reduced. Same as Chase Utley. Look for him to come and start once a week and be used more off the bench, guys.
All right, Alana, the Dodgers and the Rockies ready to wrap up this series. Ross Stripling for the Dodgers and Chad Bettis for the Rockies. We've got first pitch just around the corner on a perfect Sunday afternoon. really good week going for him, starting with that game-winning home run in New York last Sunday, trying to keep things rolling under these light blue skies against Chad Bettis, who he's always been good against. He and the Dodgers will try to support Ross Stripling in this one. Take a look at the Rockies lineup for this series finale, with DJ LeMahieu set to lead things off, and then Gerardo Parra. Nolan Arenado starts at third and hits third. Carlos Gonzalez is the cleanup man, with Trevor Story at shortstop, coming off a great month of June. Ian Desmond's gotten it going the last month. Raimel Tapia just called up yesterday, and Tom Murphy hitting eighth. All against Stripling, whose ERA at 1.98 is the second best in baseball, behind only Jacob deGrom.
He's been absolutely fantastic. Today, he's probably glad not to see a Cubs uniform. The last two starts against the Chicago Cubs, they gave him one of his two losses this year, but both outings were solid, just not as dominant as we are used to. Ross Stripling this year has really raised the bar on our expectations, and even for himself on what he wants to do out there. And if he continues on, we've got a chance to see him in the All-Star game, and I think it would be a sentimental favorite for Dave Roberts, who will have a chance to help that selection.
He's pitched very well against the Rockies in his career. 9 games, he's got a sub-2 ERA against them. And today facing a pretty hot Rockies club. They've won 3 straight after losing 4 in a row. Off we go with a fastball, pinpoint at the knees on the outside corner, strike one. The Dodgers, meanwhile, have dropped 3 straight and 4 of their last 5. Although still, over the last 40 games, the best record in baseball at 27-13. Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. Watches ball 2. A heck of a month of June the Dodgers just came off of. Hurt a little bit by the last 2 days, 3-1 losses. But one of the best records in baseball in the month. LeMahieu gets under it. Barnes to give it a look. Into the second or third row, and it's 2-2.
Well, this season for the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers have both kind of made up of long slumps and long hot streaks, and sometimes they've coincided with each other. Well, this time, June, the Dodgers only picked up a half a game. And that's because the Diamondbacks were so good in June also.
They were the only team in the league with a better record than the Dodgers. 2 balls and 2 strikes on DJ LeMahieu. Swings and misses at a big breaking ball from Stripling for the first out of the day.
We've talked so much about Ross Stripling's improvement on his curveball, and you see that there is no arc. That part of that streamline, nothing goes up, and that is the key for throwing that ball like it's a fastball delivery all the way to the very end to take the hump out of that curveball.
So one gone, and here's Gerardo Parra. Left fielder for the Rockies, having a great season. Been a top 5 hitter in the National League the last 2 months. And looks at strike one. You were talking about the Diamondbacks and how hot they had gotten in June after a miserable May. Well, the Giants have beaten them twice to open the weekend. And San Francisco now tied with the Dodgers for second. Both teams 3.5 back of Arizona.
In our heads, we see the Dodgers as the favorite, but on paper, you see it as a 3-horse race now. And it really coming into the trade deadline, it's going to be very interesting to see who on paper improves the most.
Shot by third, base hit for Parra. And the Rockies with their first base runner of the day.
Third baseman number 28, Nolan Arenado.
The Rockies with a very potent offense. Silenced a little bit in the 2 wins here against the Dodgers, but it's been enough.
3-1 in both games. Hit a home run in the first game from Nolan Arenado. He's having another great season. 20 home runs to lead the National League. 7 of them in his last 11 games. He looks at ball 1. Yeah, so it really has seemingly become at this point a 3-horse race. And for the Rockies, that's a huge disappointment. You go back to the first week of May, they had the 2nd best record in the National League, but have gone 20-27 since then. That's one of the worst in the NL.
And mostly pin it on the bullpen. And the offense was one of the best in baseball, scoring a lot of runs. And you say, oh, take that with a grain of salt. They play in Colorado. Well, they were doing it everywhere. But the bullpen has really buried them as far as wins they should have gotten when they were ahead, or keeping it close and letting the offense come back.
Which is a big deal because that's where they invested this offseason, signing 3 big contracts to back-end relievers, none of whom have panned out so far.
It is the most fixable place usually at the trade deadline, but there'll be a lot of competition for the best arms.
2-1.
I think there'll also be some conversations with agents, with teams that have a starting pitcher that might get traded, and the club that they're going to want to know, will the guy pitch out of the bullpen and will he have a good attitude?
You need that at Coors.
Well, you just need, if you're going to trade for a starter to help your bullpen and you're not going to make him a starter, you better make sure that he's going to come with the right attitude when you trade for him. Give up the pieces and go, I see him more as a bullpen piece. You know, he could be our 8th inning, or he could be our 2-inning guy to bridge from the 5th and the 6th. You better make sure through the agent that the guy's going to have a good attitude to do that.
So for any team.
Right. Yeah. Not particularly the Dodgers or the Rockies, just anybody trading for a starter to help their bullpen, not their rotation. A la Cingrani last year. Right? He had been starter reliever, mostly reliever, though. I can see you shaking your head, and you're right. So we can tell the audience that I was wrong.
It's better if you tell them that. I don't want to be the mean guy.
Oh, you're not.
Ground ball back to Stripling, knocks it down. They get the out at second and turn a double play with Max Muncy with a quick trigger. Stripling faces the minimum in the 1st inning, and the Dodgers come to bat against Chad Bettis after this. Afternoon. Chris Taylor to lead it off. Then it'll be Max Muncy starting at second base, finishing that last inning with a double play. Turner and Kemp, Bellinger and Puig, and Peterson and Barnes in front of Ross Stripling. And against Chad Bettis, the road version of Chad Bettis, who has been a completely different guy than the Coors Field version of Chad Bettis. His first pitch of the day is taken for a strike in the corner by Taylor.
Bettis's June has been absolutely terrible, and you see the home road splits there because most of his starts this June have been at home. He's only had 2 starts on the road in June, and one of them was in Texas, so that's like pitching in Colorado.
Yeah.
And the other one was against the Giants, where that's a pretty good pitcher's park, and that was his last start, and it was a solid outing.
2 runs over 6 1/3. His best one in more than a month. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Taylor. Dodgers have seen him twice this year. 2 runs against him over 5 innings on May 22nd. That was here. And then 5 runs in 5 2/3 on June 3rd at Coors.
The tough part about pitching at Coors and then switching to the Way Park is the confidence you have in your pitches and your stuff. A located pitch in Coors compared to a located pitch here at sea level, a little different.
That rides in and hits Taylor. So after he gets ahead of him 0-2, winds up plunking him.
Number 13, Max Muncy.
All the Dodgers have done a great job this year turning the correct way on inside pitches. Got a better chance of not getting hurt.
Must be doing the Happy Gilmore drills a lot.
Yeah.
Getting in the cage, getting ready for hockey season. Here's Muncy.
You go movie references on a day game. I don't know if my brain is ready.
1 ball, no strikes. Muncy, we mentioned Bettis has made a couple of starts against the Dodgers. That June 3rd start, Muncy had his first career 2 home run game against him. Nothing personal, Chad. Max has been doing it to everybody. Leading the National League in on-base plus slugging.
Bettis has caught the Dodgers a couple times this year already. 42 at bats. There's only one guy with 2 home runs. The only one that has a home run is this guy at the plate.
He's ahead here 3-0. Significant report by Alana during the pregame show about Dave Roberts' remarks about the second base playing time. Dave Roberts saying it's Max Muncy's spot against right-handed pitching at this point. He'll still find some time for Logan Forsythe against lefties. That's a 4-pitch walk, 1st and 2nd to open the day. But Max Muncy, who had never played significant innings at second base, has now become the primary second baseman.
And then, so that's against righties. Against lefties, it might be move over to first, and maybe Bellinger will get some rest.
He said, yeah, against lefties, Forsythe's going to play some. Kike Hernandez will be in there somehow. But at this point, Max Muncy is an everyday player.
Max Muncy, the early part of his life was getting a day off was, you know, a lot more often. Now it's getting a day off as we need to rest him, get him off his feet.
2 on, nobody out. Hottest Dodger hitter right here, and Justin Turner. Last 7 games for Justin. He's hitting .400. He's got 3 home runs in that span. Beginning with his game winner in New York on Sunday.
Prior to this home run bid for Justin, we were evaluating his comeback with the wrist injury and maintaining the strength, staying off the DL. And I said, you know, the last thing to come, it might not be the power this year, but all of a sudden he goes on a splurge. And he is looking like, when timed up, wherever the pitch is, there's enough strength and bat control to hit for some power.
It's always hit Chad Bettis well. Lifts this one to deep center field, sending Tapia back onto the track to put it away for the first out. Both runners advance. Turner hitting it to the wrong spot of the yard and just barely missing a first-inning homer.
Justin watched it, but he didn't watch it like, oh, I got all of it, I'm admiring it. I think he knew it was going to be just short. Maybe a chance. Yeah, a little thumb ball out there. Take a look at this. Yep, right off the thumb. Wow. Sunglasses. That could have been a huge break. And finally, a little right elbow catch.
I didn't notice that in real time. First ball hit to Tapia in the major leagues this year. He's looking up at the sun and saying, wow, you're bright here in the big time. Second and third, one out, and it's Matt Kemp. He watches this one spin away, ball one. We saw, yeah. Generous inside corner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Dodger offensive struggles over the last 2 weeks that we detailed off of the top correspond with Matt Kemp's struggles. Kemp is 3 for his last 36 after leading the National League in hitting for much of the first 2 months. Slaps this one to first. That will get the run home. Brings home Chris Taylor to make it 1-0 here in the first.
A large portion of the year, Matt Kemp was the guy you wanted up there with runners in scoring position. Right here, even though he doesn't get a hit here, but he gets the ground ball, gets the RBIs, he's looking for things like that to build off of, to get him back to that early form.
And here comes Bellinger with Turner at third, or Muncy at third and 2 out. One ball, no strikes. Dribbled along first, and an easy play for Desmond that ends his first inning. But the Dodgers have their first lead of the weekend. To the second we go, 1-0. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. Perfect weather on this homestand. Dodgers in front 1-0. Middle third of the Rockies order, starting with Carlos Gonzalez here in the second. It's like really nice weather for the final few days too, with the Pirates coming in tomorrow. Ross Stripling delivers ball one. Looking forward to the back-to-back fireworks nights on Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's always special on July 4th. It's extra special when you get them the night before.
Hard hit, base hit. Carlos Gonzalez with a leadoff single, his first knock of this series. And here we're going to have a flyover.
Shortstop number 27, Trevor Story.
I hope that's not during the fireworks.
Ooh, that'd be dangerous.
Even with the shift, finds a way to get that hard ground ball through.
Leadoff man on, and up comes Trevor Story. who's putting it all together this season for the Rockies and has turned himself into one of the most well-rounded hitters you'll find. Strikeouts are down. The power's still there. Hitting for average again. Swings through a first pitch slider, strike one. .25 years old in his third year in the majors now. Remember, he was on his way to giving Corey Seager a run for his money for Rookie of the Year in 2016. But then he had a season-ending injury in early August, and that made it really just Seager's to lose. Hit hard to left, and back-to-back hits open this second. Kemp cuts it off with a backhand, throwing to third, not in time, and that allows Story to advance to second.
It was probably a good risk from Matt Kemp, because I'm not sure he throws Story out from the corner of left field, because it's a longer throw to second. Yes, Story starting from home plate, but Matt's momentum going away, and really easier to open up and take a shot right there. I think that's the same timing it would have been at second base.
It's ruled a single for Story with the advance on the throw.
I understand that you can't assume it, but I just think as a left fielder, thinking about what you're doing as you're running into that corner, putting time and space together, it's like, third, I got a shot.
Ian Desmond, second and third, nobody out. Looks at a curve that drops in for a strike. Desmond top 5 in the league with his 17 home runs. Number 17 yesterday. Punch to first. Bellinger plays an in-between bounce as Gonzalez comes in to tie the game. So 1-1. The Rockies waste no time even in the issue. Two runs in this game, both of them on ground outs to first.
Dodgers was with one out, so you had 2 out on third, but the Rockies' little advantage here, have to pull the infield in for the Dodgers with only 1 out and a man on third.
And Tapia coming up. First at bat in the bigs for him this year. Good numbers in limited time over the last 2 years. Talented, athletic young player. On a 1-0 pitch. Lays off, ball 2. Three and 0. That's a rare 4-pitch walk for Ross Stripling, who in the month of June had a 30-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
And with a runner in scoring position, that strikeout to walk ratio is still very good. It's above 5-to-1, so it's not like he's trying to walk people and doesn't attack in these situations. That was a little bit of a strategic walk, I think, after he fell behind 2-0.
And with the bottom of the order coming up now, chance to get out of it. It's the 8-hitter, Tom Murphy. Strike one. We were talking during the pregame show. If you're looking for a concrete example of a guy's poise, the way he pitches in these situations with runners in scoring position is a pretty good indicator. And a pretty good group that he's on this list with. The best runners in scoring position averages against in baseball. He's third.
Ross is very steady. You know, we know about his stockbroking background and currently still does it in his spare time. He's got a very steady hand with picking stocks, and he's got a very steady hand when there's runners in scoring position.
Is on to Murphy, swung on and missed. He could really use a strikeout here, and he's on the doorstep of it at 0-2.
So far today, the best pitch for him has been his slider, and that's just for today, because usually the league hits that pitch at the highest average of the four. But you got to go with what you have right now, trying to find the range on the curveball and the fastball and the changeup.
First and third, one out, tied in the second, and an 0-2. Fastball rides in, and it's cut on and missed for strike three. Up to second advances Tapia, but a big second out for Stripling with a pitcher coming up.
Pitcher number 35, Chad Bennett.
Now the fleet-footed center fielder moves up on this loose ball that kind of gets out of the ejector mitt of Austin Barnes right there. Going to get the springs removed from that glove.
Dave Roberts saying Yasmani Grandal will catch each of the next 3 games. Kind of been one on, one off lately. Strike one on Chad Bettis. Although he reiterated that it is Grandal's spot still. Just kind of how it's lined up, and Yasmani overcoming that stomach bug. Falls out of the sky for strike two. At second and third, nobody out. They've played at one, but this would be a win for Stripling if he can limit him to that. One and two.
A lot of trust in Austin Barnes right here if you're going to throw your curveball, which is your best pitch. And especially when you haven't found the complete range with it yet, you don't want to miss up, so then you really have to trust your catcher.
Sticks with a fastball and strikes him out. Back-to-back Ks to the 8 and 9 hitters, and Stripling limits the damage to 1. Advantage brought to you by Purple Bricks. The Dodgers in June setting a franchise record with 55 home runs, doubling their per game production from the first 2+ months of the year.
You know, you're glad to see the bats wake up, especially with the power early on. That was one of the major struggles. But now, as they're in a slump right now, I hope they don't fall in love with the home run. And I know Turner Ward is not preaching that at all. I'd say the #1 thing that they need to continue to work on is that 2-strike approach, because when they face those tough pitchers, they don't give up many home runs. The 2-strike approach might help them with the average.
Yasiel Puig to lead off this second against Chad Bettis in a 1-1 game, and he takes ball 1 high. Did you get your Puigy bank?
Oh, I got a few of those for stocking stuffers.
All right.
Yeah.
It's 1-1. Bettis working quickly. Puig able to check his swing and move ahead in the count. 29-year-old, oldest member of the rotation. Bettis originally from Lubbock, Texas, the hub city. It's a 3-1 count on Puig. I call it that because if you look at the map, there's a bunch of highways that come in and kind of intersect there, but there's also a loop around it. So on the map, it looks like a hub. High line drive to center. Tapia back, edge of the track to catch it. He didn't look particularly comfortable with that one either, although he's able to glove it cleanly this time.
Center fielder, number 31, Jock Peterson.
Yeah, when he gets in the webbing, but you're so right. It does kind of look like he is groping for the baseball.
One gone, second inning. Jock Peterson. Two hits against Bettis, home runs. Takes ball 1. You dive into those numbers over the last couple weeks. Peterson, one of the guilty parties lately. He's 4 for his last 33. Kind of a snapshot of the team, right? I mean, 4 for 33, yet 3 of the 4 hits are home runs.
If you want to give a couple teammates to Jock as far as who else really has been slumping, a couple lefties and a couple righties. That Bellinger and Peterson are the lefties that have really been slumping, and Kemp and Forsythe, to the point where Forsythe's role is going to change now to try and kickstart a little bit of the offense.
2-2 on Peterson. Bettis to Peterson with the next one, and it's poked down the line foul.
I like the approach though right there. The shift is on with 2 strikes. There's a lot of room on the left side, and Jock, even though he looks like he's protecting, he's reading the pitch as long as possible and understands if I'm a little late, I'm hitting to an open side of the field.
Another 2-2. Takes it in the dirt. The count goes full.
Talk about it all the time. You try and tighten up your cold streaks and lengthen your hot streaks, whether you're an individual or a team. The good thing about Jock is he actually understands now his foundation. So in the midst of a cold streak like this, he's not experimenting as much as he's trying to get back to the foundation as quick as possible.
Swats one the other way. Great piece of 2-strike hitting from Jock Peterson to beat the shift. It's more that approach you're talking about.
Well, remember when Jock was really selling out to his new mechanics and stance, and they were saying, okay, the average is good and you look great up there. Now you got to open up your swing and get back to hitting for power. Well, he did that. Now he's gone from power to maybe spiraling down a little bit. So let's get back to putting the ball in play, hitting for average, and when you start to feel good again, we'll open it back up.
He's aboard with 1 out. And the 8-hitter Austin Barnes climbs in. Second start of the weekend for Austin. 0 for 3 on Friday night. Fouled it back, 1-1. The lineup card for the home plate umpire, Lance Barksdale, kind of looks like a sharp pocket square right now.
Yeah, styling.
Right. Did you happen to see the umpire in Chicago yesterday who had a towel draped around his neck during the game? It was so hot.
A white towel?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay, we can't wear anything white on the mound because it distracts the hitter, but, you know, for you defenders out there trying to pick up the baseball as it's coming in, try and pick it up out of this white towel around my neck. You'd think you'd just give him a black towel or, you know, a cream towel, something. A white towel.
It was a cold, wet, white towel. One-two. Barnes chases, 2 out.
That pocket square, as far as the lineup card for Barksdale, that has nothing on Steve Harvey, the host of Family Feud. He has some of the biggest, floweriest pocket squares going. I think they actually design him in the back with the wardrobe people and like iron them and like glue them because they're like nothing can stay together for a whole half-hour show that well.
Maybe some hairspray on it.
Well, maybe some starch, not hairspray. I could tell you do a lot of ironing at your house.
I actually am a big iron.
Oh, are you?
1 ball, no strikes on Ross Stripling. It was a joke. It was a bad one. Hunter Wendelstadt, by the way, was the umpire yesterday.
There is no Wendelstadt in my life that I don't like.
2-0.
Harry Wendelstadt, his dad, was behind the plate in the Dick Dietz incident when Dick Dietz got hit during Don Drysdale's streak, and Harry was strong enough to stop and say, no, 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 you didn't get hit. You didn't get out of the way. And Harry was such a gentleman, and his son is too.
Yep. Streak would have ended right then. Bases were loaded.
Yep.
Ended up getting out of the jam and setting a streak that you broke.
And I only broke it because of Paul Runge.
Bouncing ball to the hole at short. Story gets to it and throws Stripling out. Great play by Trevor Story. Threw it 2. Tied at 1. Baseball is brought to you by the Southern California BMW Centers. Hurry in today for the BMW Summer On Sales event for exceptional offers. Details at SoCalBMW.com. and by Jack in the Box. Try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club combo with toasted sourdough. New from Jack in the Box. Top three, top of the order coming up for the Rockies in a 1-1 game. Joe, Orl, and Alana, glad you're with us on this Sunday afternoon as Ross Stripling gets back at it. Gave up the run in the second inning. Could have been a lot worse. Rockies had runners at second and third with nobody out and got just that one.
When you're talking Ross Stripling, you're talking about a league now that understands you have to attack him on the first two pitches. The league batting .333 in the first two pitches. But after that, .207. And the reason is because after he gets ahead of you, and now you get deeper in the count, he has a feel for what you're doing. He has a feel for his pitches, and you're going to get any one of all four. Where early on, maybe only going to get the fastball and the slider early on, both kind of firm, both kind of the same type of approach. But when you start to add in the changeup and the curveball, it's a challenge.
Very complete pitcher at this point. Ready to face this Rockies order for the second time with DJ LeMahieu to lead things off. Spins one away, ball one. For so many of these guys, you can say living a dream, pitching in the majors, playing in the majors. It really wasn't something that Ross dreamt of. Ground ball, base hit to open the inning. He was more of a basketball player first in high school. And even when he started playing baseball and playing it well after a leg injury in basketball, still didn't think it was something that was possible. He thought he'd do what everybody in his family did, and that is go to Texas A&M, get a good degree, go work in finance somewhere. Walks on at Texas A&M, ends up becoming one of their top pitchers. Rockies initially drafted him. Went back for his final season. Dodgers picked him up. And now here he is putting together his best season in the majors. Gerardo Parra looks at ball one. It wasn't until Ross was a senior in high school that he was a pitcher. He's an infielder in the JV squad when he was a junior. And then broke his leg in pregame layup drills. His senior year of basketball, decided to give pitching a try somewhere where he didn't have to be quite as mobile as playing the field. Slicing drive into the gap in left center that gets up against the wall. Peterson plays it, guns it into Taylor. They stop LeMahieu at third on a double from Parra. So for the second inning in a row, the Rockies have him at second and third with nobody out.
Parra has done a nice job using the left side of the field, tracking Stripling's pitches. A huge change in velocities that Ross can give you in different types of pitches. Staying on it and trying to go the opposite way is your best chance.
Arenado the hitter. Grounded into a double play his first time. And is going through a bit of a slump. He's 4 for his last 29. And with the guys like him, it's always a little bit scary. Well, it's not going to last too long. Ground ball. That will bring home the go-ahead run as Taylor throws Arenado out. And the Rockies lead at 2-1.
Number 5, Carlos Gonzalez.
Rockies have swung the bat 12 times, and over 80% of the time when they swing it, it's on the first two pitches. So they really are not letting Ross get into counts. And they've been attacking mostly the slider and the fastball because that's what he predominantly throws in those early count pitches.
Runner at second and one out. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. Attacking the first pitch and spraying it foul. Parr is going to head for third. The throw from Barnes offline, and he's safe.
That's huge with only one out. Move from second to third, and Parr does it with a heads-up move. He sees this ball in the dirt. It was close by. A little bit of spin that went onto the ball after he blocked it, took it away an extra foot. And that's the foot that Parr gets into third on.
So Parr now 90 feet away with the infield drawn in. And Gonzalez hits a ground ball. Diving stop by Bellinger to hold him at third. Run-saving play by Cody Bellinger, who is even with the bag. And even less time than normal to react to this one.
Volkswagen replay right here, and it's all Cody Bellinger. It could have been a double play if Parr elected to leave third with his gun and ability to get quickly to his feet, tag the bag, record the first out, and then in the midst of that, being ready to throw the ball home. Outstanding play by Cody Bellinger.
So once again, Ross Stripling with a chance to limit the damage to just one. Only this time, instead of the pitcher, he's got to deal with Trevor Story. Runner at third and 2 out. Strike one. Story singled his first time. 4 for 8 in this series. One and one. Couple Texas guys going at it here. Story out of Irving High School. He's actually more of a pitching prospect than Stripling was out of high school. A 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Wanted to play shortstop, though. The Rockies drafted him in the first round. The man at third and 2 out, a 2-1 that he pokes foul, and it's 2-2.
The great thing about Ross Stripling, he didn't dream about being a big leaguer, or he didn't dream about being a big league pitcher, but he's never been satisfied, and once that became his career. And what I mean by that is he's been relegated to the bullpen a lot, but he always continued to say, I am a starting pitcher. I just happen to be in the bullpen. And then it's like, I just need an opportunity. Let me be a starter. And he has continued to develop as a pitcher. And now really all that work is paying off. From going down to the minor leagues and trying to get stronger in his lower half early on in his career when his fastball and his stuff could not be maintained. And then coming into the next season stronger and feeling better and continuing to produce for a whole year. And now in a rotation spot and could be an all-star.
Down the line to right. Puig with a long run. Won't get there. And it's a ground rule double to make it 3-1.
The Rockies have had good fortune down the right field line in this series. Yasiel has had to go over into that corner a few times. Kenta Maeda's start, there was one that just barely fell in like this one, and the spin is perfect. The Story slices this down the right field line, and that's spin and curve is what keeps it away from Yasiel perfectly.
So this time they are able to cash in with the back-to-back hits that open the inning. And they lead by the same score that they won by each of the first 2 games in this series. With 2 out, it's Ian Desmond. You mentioned Stripling's rookie year, working on that lower half, shutting him down. He went back. This was after debuting in the majors and pitching well for a while. Went back to their spring training home in Glendale and spent about a month and a half pitching 1 inning per week and just working on strengthening his legs.
Bulking up.
Yeah.
So you come in and you know you're there with the strength and conditioning coach. Okay, what are we doing today? We're going to do legs. Okay, what are we doing tomorrow? We're going to do legs. Hey, when do the legs get a day off? Well, the day off will be the day before your inning when you're going to pitch that 1 inning a week. Other than that, we're doing legs.
He said one of his weeks, his 1 inning fell on a 110-degree day.
In some ways, the schedule in Arizona during the summer is devious. It makes you want to work hard and get out of there.
Desmond climbed the ladder, fouled it off, still 0-2.
The hottest part of the day in the desert, you know, 5, 6 o'clock at night. So they get them up super early in Arizona. They get all the work done as early as possible. I think some days the games even start at 10. Sometimes they're at noon, depending on what their schedule is and what they're doing.
Barnes keeps this one close by, keeps Story at second.
Other than the temperature, the facility is the best. Just absolutely fantastic. The one-on-one treatment they can get there and all the things that are available to them. State-of-the-art major league facility that is the Dodger spring training home.
A few more amenities in Vero Beach.
I would say so. Just not because Vero Beach didn't try and wasn't state-of-the-art, but just generationally the things that have improved.
That was a special place though, right?
Yeah, it was a really special place because of the barracks, you know, and you stay on base right there. You walk to the dining room. You're rubbing elbows with Tommy Lasorda and Roy Campanella and Sandy Koufax and Don Newcomb and all the greats because they're in there. They've been there to help you throughout the day as the O'Malleys would bring in all the greats that even weren't in uniform at the time, you know, weeks at a time. We'd have Hall of Famers and legends that would come through and were nice enough to come over to the minor league side and help us out. We're nice enough to go out to the games and watch and then maybe rub up against them in the dining room and they might give you a tip here and there. And what an unbelievable joy it was, or honor, to be invited over to like Tommy Lasorda's table where Roy Campanella and Sandy are eating with him and there's 2 other chairs, and as a minor leaguer maybe Tommy waves you over, and that night you're eating with just baseball legends, and then you walk the halls and it's pictures of them and you know, commemorative things about their records. So historic Dodger Town as it's called right now, we got to live it.
Stripling home with a 2-2, and Desmond rips a ground ball. Diving stop by Chris Taylor to save a run. Infield single for Ian Desmond, but Taylor's effort keeps Story at third.
You've got traditional positioning, and then you've got 2 out, man on second positioning, and this little depth and Chris Taylor's great range. You maybe go back a step or 2, sometimes even more, just to knock the ball down, keep it in the infield, save that run, make sure it takes 2 hits to score that run, not 1.
This is now the 3rd start in a row that Stripling's allowed at least 7 hits. He had only allowed 7 hits 1 time prior to this run. 1st and 3rd, 2 gone, and it's Raimel Tapia. The Rockies in front 3-1. Gets him swinging with a fastball in, strike 1.
Strike 1 with a swing, the Rockies, and the whole league probably now. Ross has a reputation. This is a guy that, you know, 3 days before he starts, they're game planning him now. It's not just, oh, Ross is a spot starter.
Oh, 0-2.
These Rockies have been very aggressive early in the count.
Yeah, not only is he not just a spot starter, he's not just a starter. He's 2nd in the majors in ERA. You're always going to get more attention when you have numbers like that.
And it's different attention that Ross will get when you study his scouting report of what you want to do, because you're not dealing with exceptional velocity. You're dealing with exceptional results, but each individual pitch is better because of the combination.
Strikes out Tapia with a breaking ball and finishes along third, but the Rockies get two and take their first lead of the afternoon. Joe Davis and Orr Hershiser, and the Dodgers trying to get the offense going against Chad Bettis. What have you seen so far today?
Well, one hit for the Dodgers, and that was a great two-strike approach by Jock Peterson. So you think about the offense, nobody else, maybe the big swing today, the home run's not the approach. To get the base hit, go the opposite way. We've seen that on the other side of the equation with Parra and a few of the Rockies.
To get their 3 runs against Ross Stripling.
Enough of this 3-1 score stuff.
I know. It's not even a cool score. Balling on Chris Taylor.
And you've got 2 losses at 3-1 in the third game. You're trying to avoid a sweep, and the score is 3-1. You just got to get that changed up on the board and on the correct side of the ledger.
Chad Bettis trying to do what the first 2 starters for the Rockies in this series have done, and that is downright dominate. 8 innings on Friday night. Tyler Anderson, 8 innings last night from Herman Marquez. Fly ball to center field, but he got it off the end of the bat, and Tapia is there for out number 1.
Well, fans, the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Dodgers are represented on this year's squad by voting at Dodgers.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox.
3-1 Rockies here in the third. Kemp still among the leading vote getters in the outfield. Markakis and Harper the others. On a 1-0 pitch, Max Muncy takes a ball. It's 2-0. Muncy not on the fan ballot. He is on the player ballot. And even though he arrived a few weeks into the season, since he got here, he's made as good of an all-star case as anybody. Told Bill Shaken yesterday that, of course, he would love to go. The current plans are to go to his family's lake house in upstate New York and recharge the batteries. 3-1.
Lake House, All-Star Game, Lake House, All-Star Game. I'd rather bring the family to the All-Star Game.
Yeah. Full count. Here is the case that Max Muncy's putting together. His ranks across all of baseball.
So he wouldn't be a starter. He'd be named to it. And all of a sudden, the National League's in a tie game or down by a run, and you could bring Max Muncy off the bench.
takes ball 4. He's walked twice today.
And you could also have him lead off an inning because you've got the possibility of the home run with what he's doing with the slug, and then you got the possibility on base percentage because of his great eye.
1 on with 1 out, and we go down to Alana Rizzo.
Guys, Dave Roberts was saying earlier today that he's still kind of sorting through those stats as far as the National League players are concerned for the All-Star Game reserves, but he has named his coaching staff. In addition to bringing his entire coaching staff from the Dodgers, he's also named Bud Black as well as Dave Martinez to his staff.
All right. Turner swings at the first pitch and grounds it foul. Bud Black, one of his mentors. They were together in San Diego for years. Really, Bud Black, Bruce Bochy, the 2 guys that Dave Roberts credits for his managerial style. One and 1. Turner's ahead. '50th pitch of the afternoon from Chad Bettis is a 2-1. And it's at the bottom of the zone for strike 2.
And Chad Bettis has been good this year. A lot about the breaking stuff and the changeup. He's got more of that changeup, kind of like Zach Greinke does, and I think Zach has really changed the culture of the changeup in this generation. I think this generation worries more about great arm speed, and yeah, if I take a little off and it has action, that's the one I want. Not, do I really need to work hard on my delivery to take 10 to 12 miles an hour off the pitch, or is one that's 4 to 6 miles an hour off with action just as good because my delivery really sells out like I'm throwing the ball hard? And I think we're seeing more and more guys not worry about 10 to 12 miles an hour off, but just getting great arm speed and a little bit of action with about 4 or 5 miles an hour off.
Struck out Turner with a slider, 2 gone, and Matt Kemp hits the first one foul. And the changeup he throws almost 30% of the time, and he says that he tries to throw it as hard as he can. And he's become fascinated by spin rate. When it comes to the changeup, throwing it harder produces a lower spin rate. That's a bullet down the line for Kemp, and a good sign for a guy who's been struggling. Muncy's given the wave by Woodward. The relay to the plate is high, and the Dodgers are within 1 on a 2-out double from Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp's second RBI of the game. The first one came on a weak ground ball to first. We thought maybe this will get his confidence back, and maybe it has. That bat is free and easy and pulling that double down the line. And Max Muncy with an outstanding slide as far as the angle. The last body part available to touch home plate is the hand. He doesn't go with the feet. He goes wide, uses the hand to reach back in. If he'd have been going straight at home plate, he'd probably been out. Very nice slide.
How low can you go? Into the limbo.
Oh, get out of my brain,
Out
Davis.
of mine, Hershiser. 3-2. Yeah, with 2 out, Cody Bellinger watches one spin inside. Cody today 0 for 1 with a ground out. And he's trying to do the same thing as Kemp, and that is break out of his slump. His a little bit shorter than Matt's. Cody 1 for his last 13. On this 1-0, it's under it, strike 1. Pretty good wheels from Max Muncy. Two balls, 1 strike on Bellinger.
Max Max Muncy, and I'll tell you what, third base coaches really appreciate. They appreciate right there the piano doesn't jump on your back, because they're grading the speed that you come into third in, and they hope you can maintain it. The legs start to tighten, the stride starts to shorten, the breaths start to get a little shorter, and you slow down.
Isn't it amazing to, I'm sure you've watched at least a little bit of World Cup, watch these guys run for 90 minutes and not get tired.
Soccer in a gym is about as much running as I wanted to do.
Ground ball to first, and Desmond to the bag. Second time Bellinger's done that today. The inning comes to an end, but the Dodgers get one back on a double from Kemp, and it's 3-2 to the middle innings.
Down 3-2 in the top of the fourth inning. A win today. They salvaged the series with these Colorado Rockies. Next up, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Time now for your Mercedes-Benz pitching preview. So far, nobody publicly named to start for the Pirates in Game 1. For the Dodgers, it's left-hander Alex Wood, then another left-hander Clayton Kershaw on Tuesday against right-hander Ivan Nova, and yet another southpaw on Wednesday, Rich Hill going up against right-hander Joe Musgrove. Guys?
All right, Alana, with more great weather expected. A bunch of good stuff going on with the back-to-back fireworks nights Tuesday, Wednesday. Ross Stripling delivers strike one to Tom Murphy. One and one. Gets it by him, 1-2.
Gives you a little shot of adrenaline when your team pulls within one. You're down 3-1. You're not feeling great about your outing. It could be a nice solid outing, a possible victory if you go 6 or 7 innings. You get that one and you get a little extra restart.
He's got a strikeout to open the fourth inning, maybe riding some of that adrenaline, his 5th total today.
It's a nice situation. The Dodgers get the one run, and then you're facing the bottom of the order. You're feeling like you can get through this portion of the game and really give them a chance to climb back in it the next half inning on offense. A little delay here for Bettis.
They're actually going to send up a pinch hitter.
Well, they were making a late decision on him. What happened to him?
It's got to lead you to believe there's something wrong with Bettis, who's given up 2 runs on 2 hits over 3 innings.
Something that they've been dealing with over long term that all of a sudden has creeped up and is too painful to continue, or something that happened acutely last inning.
Silver lining for the Rockies here is that the bullpen is very well rested, having gotten 8 innings from the starter each of the first 2 games this weekend. It's Chris Russin beginning to warm. You can give him some length. And Rick Honeycutt with a pinch hitting Valleca coming up brings the scouting report to Ross.
And we all know now that this does not count as a visit as far as the overall total that you're allowed to make. It counts, of course, as far as this inning and the possibility on the second visit, Ross would have to be removed.
It's been effective, that rule.
It really has. And you know what? It's been subtly effective. It's not even something we really have to worry about, or they don't bump up against it. The players in the infield and the catchers have really responded to it. At first, it was almost like there was a force field around the mound and nobody would come near it. Now they're subtly starting to use the visits throughout the game in the key spots, knowing that they're not going to run out.
Ball 1 on Pat Valleca. So they've gone last year, Oral, from 7.5 mound visits per game to under 4 mound visits per game. Pop fly, that bright sunshine not going to be easy. Bellinger and Muncy, and thankfully for Cody, Muncy found it. 2 out.
I love the fact that Muncy did not give up on helping Cody. Cody puts his glove up and like, I'm ready, the hand's there, and then when he looks over, Muncy is already on it. That's some tough visual communication between those two, and verbally if they're talking. Because when Muncy looks over to see if he's having trouble with it, remember, he's not looking at the ball then. He has to then look back up and try and find the ball.
But 2 out, top of the order, which has really gotten it done against Stripling today. Top 6 in the order, a combined 7 for 12 the first 2 times. DJ LeMahieu takes ball 1. And now strike 1. Barnes tried to pull it back. Home plate umpire Lance Barksdale, who is very middle range as far as hitter or pitcher friendly, wouldn't bite. 2-1. Bouncing ball to Chris Taylor. And Ross Stripling with a 1-2-3-4. 1-run game to the bottom half.
Join T-Mobile in showing appreciation for all military by sharing a photo or video with the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Friday on an all-new Backstage Dodgers, go behind the scenes of Puig's annual Wild Horse Charity Poker Tournament, plus Kershaw hosts a charity event of his own with a surprise performance from a country music star. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, Friday after the post-game show on Sportsnet LA.
Puig to lead off this inning against Chris Russin, pressed into the game much earlier than anybody anticipated, with Chad Bettis leaving unexpectedly. Russin, in his first 21 games this year, gave up at least 1 run in 15 of them. But he's been much better lately. Sub-2 ERA over his last 7. Puig lined out to center his first time. And here he is to start the 4th in a 1-run game. Gearing up for the first pitch and fouling it off. There's a double and a homer against Russin lifetime. Russin quick pitches, missing off of the plate inside, 1-1. The 31-year-old from Detroit, Michigan. 2 balls and a strike. Yasiel Puig leading off the 4th. And popping it up. Murphy has room.
One of the more frustrating things for a hitter,
#31,
popping up behind you in foul territory, because when you first contact, it's like, oh, that's great, that's a foul ball. But then when you see it staying in, it's like getting a bloodletting just dripping out of you.
That's graphic.
Sorry.
Your point's taken, though.
Appreciate it.
Jack Peterson with 1 out.
1-800-MOVE ON.
Well, I was already on Jock. 1 ball, no strikes.
I was just coaching up myself.
Self-help.
Okay.
Like same spot, different result, 1-1. Peterson against Russin, 1 for 11. And behind 1-2. Flips one down the line. That is foul. Now Peterson, we mentioned the slump that he's currently in. With that slump, it's brought the average down some, but with these numbers in June, with the 10 home runs out of his 17 hits, his slugging in June led baseball.
Wow.
Five doubles, 10 homers out of his 17 hits. Takes it high here, and it's 2-2. July now, huh?
It is.
Crazy.
Might be getting a little warmer soon.
Down the right field line. Peterson is 2 for 2. He'll turn this one into a double. The tying run in scoring position.
The first at bat was a battle, but an outstanding two-strike approach, which took the ball to left field for his first hit, is what he was rewarded with. Now, a bigger challenge against a lefty. Boy, he does a nice job staying on that ball, staying down and through it, hitting that line drive. Left-handed or right-handed, a couple of knocks.
Both with 2 strikes. So Peterson is second and 1 out. Up comes Austin Barnes. Strike 1. A big part of the issue for the Dodgers over these last couple weeks, where the runs per game is way down, has been with runners in scoring position what they do. So far in this one, they're 0 for 4. Quickly 0-2. Home runs down some, but the big drop-off. It's been almost 100 points in these situations. Barnes able to stay alive.
Second 13 games in June where the offense has kind of struggled. The on-base percentage dropped, the walks a little bit dropped. Then, of course, the opportunities with runners in scoring position also dropped. So a lower average with less opportunities is not a good formula.
Well, we've talked about it. They're going to hit home runs. It becomes home run reliance, over reliance perhaps, when you're not hitting with runners in scoring position.
Well, you have to pick up those easy RBIs and also then get some key hits. And the easy RBIs, of course, are a runner on third and less than 2 outs.
On another 0-2, Barnes will step out with time call. With the pitcher on deck, Barnes trying to come through. Another 0-2. You watch his strike 3. Backdoor slider from Russin to the corner. 2 out.
Number 68, Ross Stripling.
Austin, you know, in the back of his head, he swung wildly at a Bettis breaking ball in his first at bat. It was probably a foot outside, so he's like, come on, don't chase, make sure it's in the strike zone. And all of a sudden you get one that just nips the edge.
So Stripling to hit for himself with 2 gone in a 1-run game here in the 4th. There's 1 RBI this season. Down the right field line, foul. Been a couple near misses from Dodger pitchers this year.
Rich Hill down the left field line. I think it was with bases loaded 2 out. It would have turned that game on its ear. They ended up losing it, and they were 6-8 inches on a Rich Hill almost raked.
Now an 0-1. Stripling swings over it. 0-2. You're
just trying to put the ball in play. Give yourself a chance. Make him field it cleanly if it's at him. Maybe you find some space out there.
Grounded gently to third, and Arenado picks it off and throws Stripling out to finish the Dodgers in the fourth. With the runners in scoring position, problems continue, and they remain behind 3-2. And in that third inning, the Rockies got two to take the lead, but it could have been worse if not for some great defense from Cody Bellinger and Chris Taylor.
The one records an out, and the other one does not record an out, but it still rescues the possible run by knocking it down. Man on second, 2 outs. Keep it in the infield.
3-2 the score to the fifth. Joe, Oral, and Alana. Glad you're spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Hoping you're having a great one wherever you may be. And Ross Stripling, despite not having his most dominant stuff today, is keeping his team in the game. He's allowed these 3 runs on 7 hits and a walk. And really looked more like himself last inning. Worked his first 1-2-3 inning of the day on just 10 pitches.
That is what we are now used to with Ross Stripling. And you know, when he was first added to the rotation, this is the kind of outing that would be the solid outing that you're so glad you got the relief out of the pen to really pick up and eat some innings, keep you in the game. But the standards that Ross has now set for himself, I'm sure he's a little bit disappointed right now, a little extra adrenaline with that momentum of the 1-2-3 inning, and figuring I got to finish off this outing strong, give us a chance, and maybe I can still get a W.
Part of the order here. It's Parra, Arenado, and Gonzalez. Parra's 2 for 2 today with a single and a double. Rockies are attempting to sweep this series without getting much from Arenado. He was 0 for 2 today, 2 for 10 on the weekend. It's been more about their pitching for the first time in a long time. One slipped, and it's ball 1. German Marquez, one of the best starts of his career yesterday. Perfect through 5 innings. Nice looking change up, evens the count at 1-1. Showing a really powerful fastball. I knew that he had good stuff. Dave Roberts even said after the game, though, we didn't know he had 100 in there.
And late in the game.
Yeah.
It was 99 in the 8th.
Parra. It's a ground ball to Bellinger at first, who takes it to the bag for the first out.
Third baseman Nolan Arenado.
Up comes Arenado. Was pretty vocal this past week. I'm sure you saw some of his quotes after they lost their 4th consecutive game. Just about how his frustrations have kind of peaked at this point, saying that he's sick of losing. Hates the fact that he's only played in 1 postseason game in his career. And sees this season spiraling in the wrong direction. He takes strike 1 in the corner. After it got off to a promising start, 20-27 since early May. And he said, don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't like being a Rocky. I love it there. It's just with every loss, it gets harder and harder.
And the Rockies are kind of in that middle of the pack. They're not San Diego and rebuilding. They're not considered a real favorite like the Dodgers or Arizona and adding pieces. They're really kind of like, are we going for it this year or not? And with the improvement or the acquisition to attempt to improve the bullpen, I'm sure he came into the year feeling really good about, all right, we're just not that middle of the pack team. We're going to be competing this year.
Got the big free agent class coming up this offseason. Arenado will be a free agent the next year. Digs out a breaking ball, sends it to deep center. Peterson to the wall, sizes it up, but can't get it. A solo home run for Arenado. His 8th in his last 12 games. His National League leading 21st.
A powerful hitter that doesn't get it all.
Right fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
But he gets a lot of backspin, and it's hit during the day. 79-mile-an-hour curveball out in front of the plate. Not the complete bat speed that you would normally see in a crushing home run, but hit at the right time with the right swing.
So he's now 5 for his last 31 with 4 homers. Carlos Gonzalez ropes it on the ground, picked up by Turner, and 2 out. Boy, Arenado, if they were to struggle again next year, he would bring some kind of haul as a rental.
Yes, he would. and only 1 playoff game under his belt. You won't have to worry about that guy melting down in the playoffs. I mean, one of the biggest turnarounds in his career was his ability to say, you know what? I'm not just going up to make contact. I'm going up to crush the ball.
Yep.
And that's the kind of attitude he has on a daily basis, so he really can't take it up another level.
Grew up a Dodger fan. Grew up idolizing Adrian Beltre in Dodger blue. 1 ball and 1 strike on Trevor's Story.
Adrian Beltre never got cheated.
No, you're right. You can see a little bit of that in him.
Yeah. I think I'll start swinging like my role model.
1-2 on Story. The 1 playoff game, the wild card game last year. It's the Rockies' first postseason trip in 8 years. Previous 6 seasons before last year, they had the worst record in the National League over that span. Story lays off an elevated fastball, 2-2. And then all came crashing down with the wild card loss to the Diamondbacks. John Gray was not good in that game. John Gray, by the way, has been sent to the minor leagues. It's the opening day starter for these Rockies this year, and he's now in AAA. Cue shot off the end of Story's bat ends this inning, but Arenado goes deep. We're halfway home in a 4-2 game. California Toyota dealers. It's Toyota's Red, White, and You sales event. Celebrate your independence with a great deal on a new Camry. Great day to be at the ballpark. Dodgers trying to make it a win for these fans. They trail 4-2 to the bottom of the 5th, but have the top of the order coming up here. Chris Taylor leads things off and takes strike one from Chris Russin, who is on for Chad Bettis, leaving the game after 3 innings. Oh, 0-2. Taylor was hit by a pitch to open the day for the Dodgers. Came in to score their first run. It's 1-0 at that point. Rockies getting 3 straight. And then another run in the top of this inning to lead 4-2. And another 0-2. Quick pitch, and it sails on him. 1-2. Issue's not been getting runners on. It's been getting them in. They're 1 for 10 with men on base today.
Stripling with his first 1-2-3 inning. Jock Peterson with a 1-out double, and all of a sudden he gets stranded. It had a chance for some momentum there.
Strike 3 called on a high pitch from Russin. And Taylor the first out of the 5th.
And Arenado takes the momentum right back with his home run. And the leadoff strikeout here does not help.
With 1 gone in the 5th inning, here's Max Muncy.
You know, Joe, one of the reasons that you have a right-handed starter and all of a sudden he goes out early, you bring in a lefty, is to affect usually the middle of a order. Well, Max Muncy in the 2-hole is considered the middle of the order now.
Grounds one up the middle, past a diving defender for a base hit.
You are not going to affect Max Muncy by bringing in the lefty. He's hitting .286 prior to that at bat off of lefties and hitting lower against righties as we watch the Carl's Cam replay. And confidence, first pitch, Rip City, beat the shift, take it right back up the middle.
Been on all 3 times. He'd walked twice, and now he singles to center and brings up Justin Turner, representing the tying run here in the 5th. Oh, 0-1.
This is where you can really awaken the 10th man in the crowd at Dodger Stadium here. Get a run here, maybe even get 2 and really wake them up and take back the home field advantage.
In that record-setting month of June, the Dodgers, when they homered, were 17-5. They were 0-4 when they didn't. And without one so far today, getting their runs on a ground out from Kemp and on a double from Kemp. He's on deck with a man on and 1 out here in the 5th.
The second half of June, it took 2 home runs to win games when they were in their swoon as far as the hitting was concerned.
2-1 on Turner. Skewed a little bit because of the 7 home run game last Sunday.
But when they hit 2 or more in the second 13 of June, as they were 5-1.
Yep.
But you were right. A 7-1 game really juggles the stats.
On a 2-1, Justin Turner looks at ball 3 just off of the corner. And in a home run count here.
Rustin threw one like that to Austin Barnes that crept in and got the corner to get him last inning.
That's a walk. Tying run reaches. And Matt Kemp coming up.
Well, here's the situation where they need improvement. Hitting with runners on and hitting with runners in scoring position. Not relying on the home run only.
And even though Kemp has been struggling in recent weeks, he's still one of the top hitters in the National League in these situations. Close to 400 on the year with runners in scoring position.
Sometimes it doesn't take very long either. He will jump on the first pitch.
Got Muncy at second and Turner at first. And he's got a guy on the mound that he's homered against twice. Here we go. First one on the way, and Kemp watches it miss outside. Driven in both Dodger runs so far today. With a ground out in the first and with a double in the third. The double as hard as we've seen him hit the ball in the last couple weeks. Ground ball past a diving Story into left for a base hit. Muncy's headed home. The throw is offline. It gets to the backstop. Both runners advance, and it's a one-run game. Kemp comes through again. He's driven in all 3 today.
Matt Kemp finds a hole. He does because he hits it hard. Boy, it's down in the strike zone just below the knee, but he goes down and gets it, barrels it up, drives it through with a few hops. And because it was first and second, you're off at the crack of the bat, and that kind of jump when the ball's hit in front of you is necessary to score on that single. If it was just a man on second, you're not off. You've got to read that ball in front of you. You can't break as quick. You probably get held up at third.
Instead, a run in, second and third, 1 out, and Cody Bellinger. Concede the run and a ground ball up the middle. Strike 1. Cody today is twice grounded out to first. Muncy's been a busy guy. A couple walks, a couple runs. And now looking for the lead. Russin's 0-1. Bellinger grounds one to second. That will tie the game. Productive out from Cody Bellinger. Brings home Justin Turner, and it's 4-4.
Infield back. We got to pick up the gift run. The error on the last play costs the Rockies, and the Dodgers benefit. And Cody makes sure that they do.
Kemp advances to third, and Yasiel Puig comes to the plate. Strike 1. Dave Roberts coming out. Wants to chat with Lance Barksdale. It's a quick one.
I have no idea.
Yasiel Puig takes this one in the dirt. Russin went back to the same pitch. 1-1. A long day for a struggling bullpen. Pressed into duty in the 4th. Puig takes a borderline pitch, moves ahead.
Struggling bullpen that's had plenty of rest of late, so been stewing on your bad outings. Haven't had that opportunity like it is in the bullpen or the starting lineup where I've got tomorrow. I'll be in there.
Puig rips one to left field, but it hangs up for Parra. The inning comes to an end, but the Dodgers score twice to tie the game. And again, Matt Kemp in the middle of it all.
Series driven by Lexus when the Dodgers and the Angels face off at Dodger Stadium here on July 13th through July 15th. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
Ross Stripling, who has not been at his best today, is pitching in a tie game here in the 6th. Ian Desmond will lead it off. The official word on Chad Bettis is a hot spot on his middle finger, which is another way to say there's a blister developing there. It's the second time that this has happened to him. Both of his starts at Dodger Stadium, in fact. Ground ball by the bag foul, and it's 1-1.
It's a subject we don't mind hearing about as long as Rich Hill's name's not in the same sentence.
I would prefer nobody gets blisters.
Well, that's true. I wasn't trying to pile on Chad Bettis as much as just so glad that we've not heard that with Rich since he's been back.
And looking really good. Dodgers have had a couple of good starts this weekend that been overshadowed by very good starts by the Rockies. Rich Hill Friday night, a run over 6 2/3. Desmond looks at strike 3, 1 away in the 6th. On Ross Stripling's 6th of the day.
Momentum was interrupted for Ross by Arenado's home run, but the Dodgers did a number on Russin, and so now he's got a fresh start. This is his first start since his first start of the year that he's given up 4 runs. Everything else, the other 10 starts, 3 runs or less.
With 1 out, it's Tapia.
You got to go all the way back to April 30th where his first start was when he came out of the bullpen. But he has been nails and an all-star candidate since then.
Scott Oberg getting ready, it appears, for the bottom of the 6th. They have gotten some reinforcements off of the disabled list recently in that bullpen, but it has not been the strength that they envisioned it being. On a 2-1, Tapia fouls it off, strike 2. Giants in front of the Diamondbacks right now, by the way, in the 5th inning in Phoenix, trying to sweep Arizona. Curve gets him swinging. Back-to-back Ks to open the 6th.
Give me a couple runs, I'll get you a couple of strikeouts. Boy, that curveball's outstanding because it is starting like at the letters and then down to the knees.
Two gone for Tom Murphy, who has struck out twice himself. Looks at ball 1. If the Giants hang on to that one, and there's still a long way to go in Phoenix, the Giants will move to within 2.5 of first. Murphy to left with a 2-out hit.
Ross has done a nice job with Murphy when they were man on, but here with 2 out, nobody on, he finds his hit.
Pitcher Chris Russell.
Chris Russin up there, it appears to hit for himself. He's a good hitting pitcher. Watches a curve, catch the knees, strike 1. Boy, the Cubs and the Twins, I don't know if you've been following that series at all. They've played a couple weird games in that series. Cubs have double-digit runs in all 3 games. Ground ball up the middle. Muncy cuts it off, feeds Taylor, and ends the inning. Stripling puts up a 0 after the Dodgers tie it in the bottom of the 5th. They're having a good time in the pavilion as we go to the bottom of the 6th. today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. The Nissan Dodger calendar. 3 more games on this 10-game homestand, beginning with the Pirates tomorrow. And then an off day Thursday before the first edition of the Freeway Series over the weekend down in Anaheim. Angels will return the favor the following weekend as these teams wrap up the first half of the year. Bottom third of the Dodger order in a 4-4 game. Peterson, Barnes, and then the pitcher's spot.
It's always nice on the schedule when you have a travel day down to Anaheim. It's like an off day.
Yeah.
Not going to New York. Won't be in the air all day. We'll be home.
Hey, just to finish up that thought on the Cubs Twin series before this inning gets going. Right now it's 11-10 Cubs. And in the 3 games this weekend, there have been 60 runs on 83 hits.
Wow.
John Lester has a 3-run home run today.
Whoa.
It's a warm weekend. The breeze is out at Wrigley.
Do I remember in the Cubs series you talking about him was one of the longest to ever get his first hit?
Oh, for his first 65.
Yeah. Now a 3-run jack.
Ball 1 from Chris Russin to Jack Peterson. Dodgers tying this game against Russin in the bottom of the 5th with 2. And now Jack Peterson, who's got a single and a double today, works ahead. 2 balls, no strikes. That caught the corner. 2-1. Ground ball that's just fair, and Desmond steps on the bag.
Pitcher, Austin Barnes.
Tied up in the 6th inning, and now Russin to face Austin Barnes. Frustrating year for Austin. Frustrating day today for him, having struck out both times, including the last time with a man at second.
Austin needs a hit badly. He's going through a very rough time.
Lays a bunt down towards third, and he's got it. That's one way to get it going. Bunt single for Austin Barnes with 1 away in the 6th.
He doesn't run like a catcher. He knows how much he's been struggling, and he even lays the bunt down against the best third baseman in baseball.
Number 11, Logan Forsythe.
Outstanding play.
Instead of Ross Stripling, it will be Logan Forsythe the pinch hit, and that's going to spell the end of Chris Russin. But Black coming out. So Stripling's day ends at 92 pitches, having given up 4 runs over 6 innings. And this turns into a battle of the bullpens. Back in a moment.
Enjoy holiday fireworks on July 3rd and return the next day to enjoy the best fireworks show in town on July 4th. Both courtesy of Budweiser. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Scott Oberg is on the pitch after missing most of the month of May with a back injury. This is his eighth appearance since, and he's on to face the pinch hitting Logan Forsythe. Well, if you're just joining us, then bears repeating the newsworthy comments from before the game from Dave Roberts on the second base timeshare. Max Muncy, the guy moving forward against right-handed pitching. Logan Forsythe will still make some starts against lefties, but it is mostly Muncy's spot at this point. Ball on a strike as Barnes takes off, and he's out. Tom Murphy throws him out 2 away.
Murphy to LeMahieu, and looks like Austin has a nice jump. Looks like he's going to make it, but good job creeping up the line, receiving the ball, and getting the tag down about 6-8 inches in time.
It's another conversation where it's like, I don't know.
Exactly. Dave Roberts had one. No. Red Black has one that a little ambiguous. What's going on?
1-2 on Forsythe. Dave Roberts also commenting on how it has been an adjustment for Forsythe with the Dodgers, and that he's never really been an everyday guy here, and that's something that he had become used to in Tampa Bay. So having to adjust back to a less than everyday role. Although that's something that early on in his career he was productive at in San Diego. He takes the ball, and it's 2-2. Got him swinging, and that's that in the 6th. To the late innings we go on a perfect Sunday afternoon. Scott Alexander coming on in a 4-4 game. water on a hot Sunday afternoon. Tied at 4, and Scott Alexander on to pitch the top of the 7th.
Hot day here in Los Angeles as it starts to heat up. As the calendar turns to July, Scott Alexander should do well if his sinker is working through these hot months, because that ball will be hit on the ground when the ball in the air starts carrying.
Alexander to face top of the order for the Rockies after Ross Stripling keeps him in the game, going 6 innings, and despite some situations where it could have gotten worse, holding true to his ability to pitch with poise and limiting the damage in several of those situations.
That is one place that pitching out of the bullpen for a while before you go into a rotation really helps you.
Soft ground ball left side. Chris Taylor on a tough bounce picks it and throws him out.
Every situation a starter goes through as they have to pitch in and out of a jam, you faced coming out of the bullpen usually. So you get used to pitching with traffic with pressure on, so you have those calluses when you move into the rotation, and all of a sudden you are able to limit the damage.
Here's Gerardo Parra. Joe's bunt takes ball 1. One and 1. Giants have extended the lead on the Diamondbacks. It's now 7-3 in Phoenix. Trying to sweep that series. Trying to make it 10 of 12. Arenado due next. Two and 2. Parra, 31 years old, 10-year major league veteran. Started with Arizona, then Milwaukee for a couple of years, half a season in Baltimore. 3rd year with the Rockies now. It's a soft bouncer to Muncy at second. 2 up, 2 down, and a pair of ground balls. So you get Arenado how you'd like him, that is with the bases empty, because of his ability to do this on our Morongo slow-mo cam. His last time up, homering over the outstretched glove of Peterson.
1 out, 5th inning home run. And he has done an awful lot this year. You see the total right there at 21. A very dangerous hitter anytime.
That total leads the league. Perfectly placed by Alexander for strike 1. Okay, that is always improving. You hear that with a lot of the elite guys in the game, that they're always trying to find the little weaknesses, turn those into strengths. He's one of those guys. I heard a coach describe him as still having a minor league mentality, even though he's become one of the top 5 or 6 players in the game. He's ahead 2-1. shares an agent with Chase Utley and has gotten to know Chase a little bit through him. They first met last spring training. They had dinner together. Nolan said that he's always admired Chase, so he's a little bit starstruck, a little bit nervous going into the dinner, and didn't want to talk too much, but wound up having a great conversation with him. He walks with 2 out. Said he told himself, "Oh, don't be that guy that just peppers him with questions." But then he's sitting there across the table from Chase, and he thinks to himself, all right, how many times am I going to get a chance to sit here one-on-one with Chase Utley? I'm just going to ask him all the questions I have on my mind. And he did wind up peppering him with questions, and Chase was happy to give him any kind of insight he could. Things kept alive here in the 7th for Carlos Gonzalez, who takes ball 1.
A lot of times you wait advice, W-E-I-G-H-T, from an active player a lot more than a retired player or a coach. It seems like it's more pertinent, it's more tangible when it's coming from somebody that's still doing it and doing it well. Coaches and managers love it when they have an active player like a Chase Utley on their team, so that, you know, those sidebar conversations after the coaching advice, the managerial advice comes down. You've got support system around with active players that have resumes, and it's huge.
Questions that Nolan had for Chase were about preparation and the intensity that he plays with. And Nolan's certainly an intense guy too. Wanted to know how Chase has been able to sustain it for so long. On the ground is short. Taylor feeds Turner at the bag. We scratch at Dodger Stadium in a 7-7 game. Dodgers try to get one game in this 3-game set with the Rockies. Rockies have had good success in this ballpark in recent years, winning 7 of the last 9 head-to-head matchups, including 3-1 on Friday and Saturday. Scott Oberg against the top of the Dodger order. Chris Taylor, ball 1. Breaking pitches in for a strike. Now Taylor in his first start after a week out of the starting lineup because of the bad hamstring. Doubled on the first pitch that he saw, but has gone 0 for 11 since. He's ahead here, 2-1. Muncy and Turner to follow. Daniel Hudson.
Two righties starting off next inning for the Rockies with Story and Desmond. And then remember, behind Daniel Hudson, you probably will see Kenley Jansen because he hasn't pitched since the 27th. Dave Roberts not afraid to put Kenley out there for more than an inning.
Full count. Especially when it's been a few days like it has.
Kenley's 3 for 3 in save opportunities if the Dodgers squeak out a run or two here when he's gone more than an inning.
Taylor swings and misses, strike 3. Big first out of the bottom of the 7th there for Oberg after it had gone full on Taylor. And it's Muncy with the bases clear.
That's a really big out with Max Muncy coming up, who has reached base in every plate appearance.
Two walks and then a single his last time. Naturally right-handed, but his dad had him hit left-handed when he first started playing. His dad remembered reading something about Duke Snyder years before that Duke's dad had him bat left-handed. To save him a couple of steps running down to first. For whatever reason, that stuck with Lee Muncy. And so when Max wanted to play, Dad said, "This is how you stand. And this is how you swing." 1-2.
That sounds over the top until the guy makes it. There's a lot of kids out there that said, "I would have been a big leaguer if my dad wouldn't have forced me to bat left-handed."
Ground ball, base hit. He's been on all 4 times. Ho-hum.
And now when he's starting to pepper these ground balls through the infield, which you're not supposed to hit for a very high average on a ground ball. I mean, this is high praise, but it just kind of had some flashbacks in my mind of Tony Gwynn with a guy who has a steering wheel on his bat. Just finding the holes.
Second time this week, Oral, that he's been on 4 times. Did it against the Cubs as well. And it's Turner with a go-ahead run aboard in a tie game in the 7th. Takes ball 1 by the hands. Walked his last time and scored the tying run. That is Jake McGee. Ball 2. Which bullpen will crack? The Rockies has been at the bottom of the league all year. The Dodgers bullpen has struggled lately. On a 2-0 pitch, Turner swings, grounds it to third. Arenado backs up and fields it to second. Around the horn, a double play to end the inning. Arenado to LeMahieu to Desmond, and after 7, we're tied at 4. Preview of Access Sportsnet Dodgers.
All right, thanks, Joe. So far, July off to a bit of a different start than June. The Dodgers with 4 runs, Jerry, but no homers, manufacturing a little bit today.
No home runs, but you know what? I have a feeling today might be a walk-off day.
Let's hope so. Dodgers trying to snap that 3-game losing streak. We'll see you right after the game.
Daniel Hudson comes on, and after Kenley Jansen, Dave Roberts and Rick Honeycutt really looking who is the hot hand, and this is the hot hand in the Dodger bullpen prior to Kenley right now. Last 11 outings, 15 innings pitched, and only 1 earned run.
Trevor Story to lead off the 8th against Hudson. Yeah, yet to find Joe Blanton of 16 or Brandon Morrow of 17 in this bullpen. Starts him with an off-speed pitch and gets strike 1. Perhaps somebody emerges. Perhaps it comes through a trade. Got a few guys getting ready to come back eventually. Baez and Cingrani. Tom Kohler still working his way back. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes on Story. Josh Fields. He's starting to pitch well. So there have been several guys that have shown flashes, but nobody's taken it and run with it the way that Blanton did or that Morrow did.
It becomes a matchup bullpen. Kind of like having a platoon in the outfield or a platoon at second base. Instead of having somebody that has the job every day, you try and find ways to work it according to the matchup that day or who's hot and can carry it.
Story with a high fly ball to left field, but no big deal for Matt Kemp. 1 out.
Come to Dodger Stadium on July 14th at 4:15 when the Dodgers and the Angels face off in their 2nd game of the Freeway Series, driven by Lexus. Get here early and be one of the first 40,000 fans to take home a retro-inspired Clayton Kershaw bobblehead. Compliments of Arco. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
It's like the old original bobbleheads like we were talking about a few weeks ago.
He's only been here 10 years and we're going retro.
Here's Ian Desmond. Swinging to the first pitch, and it's foul. I think because he's been here 10 years, we've done just about every bobblehead that you could possibly do with him. So that's the next one. It has his face, his head to it, obviously, but it does kind of have the shape of the old originals. And just kind of the generic baseball bobblehead guys. It's in on him here and is ahead of him 0-2. Hold your breath a little bit on this matchup because Desmond against Hudson, 4 for 7. The 0-2. And Desmond's gotten it going some over the last month plus. 2nd year of his 5-year deal with the Rockies. Said he entered the season in the best mental state that he's ever been in. You always hear about guys talking about best shape of my life going into spring training, but his was mental shape. After he picked up a new off-season routine of yoga. Swings and misses, strike 3. Quickly 2 out in the 8th. Daniel Hudson keeping on doing what he's been doing.
Center fielder number 15, Raimel Tapia.
So now it's Tapia, who is the only position player for the Rockies without a hit today. Ground ball to second, Max Muncy. Daniel Hudson with a 1-2-3-8. And in a tie game, the heart of the order comes up after this. Top-tier plays of the game brought to you by Arco. Today he's 2 for 3, a single, a double, and he's driven in 3.
Could it be a routine ground ball to first that gets him going with runners in scoring position? Make sure he gets the 1 RBI on a fielder's choice, but then gets hot after that at bat.
He's ready to lead off this 8th inning against the best the Rockies have out of that bullpen, and Adam Ottavino, who's given up a total of 6 runs this year. 3 of them, though, coming during this road trip.
He has a 1.23 ERA in Coors Field. He's good anywhere.
The first pitch of the 8th inning, count looks at strike 1. Bellinger and Puig to follow. Dodgers trying to snap this 3-game losing streak. Kemp watches it spin away, and while many guys will tell you this is a very uncomfortable at bat, Kemp, for one, is 3 for 6 with 3 doubles against Ottavino. The 1-1 pitch. Swings away, hits a high fly ball to deep center. Matt Kemp leaves the yard and puts the Dodgers in front.
Struggling, but you're the guy they've counted on, and then you get hot and you come through late with a home run. It's a big night. That's prior to touching first base. This is after touching first base, and then a clap. He is into this.
Back in a big way on this Sunday afternoon, driving in 4 to 5 runs. And hitting just the 2nd home run that Adam Ottavino has allowed this season. And enter Kenley Jansen, getting ready for what is now a save situation. Bellinger can't lay off, and it's 1-1. Kemp was 1 for his previous 20. before he came up in the 3rd inning, and he's now 3 for his last 3. Double, single, homer. Bellinger gets almost hit. Or did it get him?
I don't think it got him, but it made him skip rope.
He's good at it.
He's going to take the base hit down the 3rd base line to get it going again. Arenado way off the line and deep. And like Austin Barnes picked on Arenado earlier and got a base hit to get him going. Cody Bellinger was going to try and take one. That Kemp hit a fastball from Montevino. Most right-handed hitters get a lot of sliders from him, over 50% sliders. Montevino's probably kicking himself.
2-2 on Bellinger. Right, when you've had one equation for the success, so much of it all season, and then you go against that, that's hard to live with.
Fastballs to righties only about 1/3 of the time. 52% fastballs, and that was the dinger.
Bellinger chases as that thing tails away from him and 1 away in the 8th.
Right fielder, number 66, Yasiel Puig.
And now Puig. There's another guy that has good numbers against Ottavino, but a lot of these good numbers that hitters have against him come in a previous life. Last year he was not good. ERA above 5. Some mechanical adjustments this offseason. Really focusing on his landing foot and being more consistent with his alignment to home plate. And it's been a completely different story for him this year. I mean, wouldn't you know it, the Rockies go out and sign these 3 big contracts for relievers. And it's the guy they had barely hanging on with a 5.06 ERA that's turned into their most trusted arm down there. Now they did 2 on Puig. The 1-2. Puig gets a bullet to left. Parra's got to play it on a bounce, and it gets by him, allowing Puig to take second.
Right in between. Parra is an outstanding outfielder. That one, it was an odd kick. Expecting that ball to kick straight towards him or to the left, more towards the corner. That one went back towards left center on him.
Puig gets a double out of it. And then the reaction from Yasiel looking to the heavens was a reflection of the bad luck that he'd experienced so far today. Crushing a couple of line drives, but right at defenders. Jock Peterson. Strike 1. It's 1-1.
Kenley Jansen, the veteran closer, just standing there, not throwing out of nervous energy, understands how to time up an inning as the Dodger offense has gone to work here. as loose as he wants to be, understanding that with 2 outs or whenever, how many pitches he needs, he'll get it cranking again.
Prowling.
We've watched that kind of prowling and stalking on the mound lately since he's been hot and really going at it for the last couple months. He does have a walk out there on the mound that is a little bit intimidating when you go, okay, this guy's really locked in. I better get ready.
Chalk ahead, 2-1.
When you're pitching well, that walk around the mound is like stalking. When you're pitching poorly, it's antics.
Right.
It's amazing how results all of a sudden change the verbs and adjectives. And
yeah, when you're pitching poorly, it's hurry it up, get on there and throw it.
Oh.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Like 2 prime examples of that are if Pedro Martinez didn't get people out, he would be rushing. And if Mariano Rivera didn't get people out, he's lazy. You just look at both of their mechanics. Pedro's coming at you, all fire and brimstone, staring down the hitter, fast mechanics. Mariano's out there like he's half asleep.
Yeah. Puig off of second with 1 out. Time is called.
So it goes to aggressive for Pedro and poised for Mariano.
Two. Chopper. Stop by LeMahieu. Can't pull the trigger. Puig dancing around. Now head home with a throw lob to first, and he's safe. The Wild Horse runs crazy.
Outstanding heads-up play. LeMahieu timing it, but can't get it out of his glove. So in disappointment, let's get it a little closer. And as he gets it closer to home plate, it's an arcing toss. And all of a sudden, Yasiel doing a little dancing, being ignored. What was higher, the lob throw to first or Yasiel's arms?
How do you not love it? The passion, the joy, and the results.
When you score, it's passion. When you're out, it's antics.
Exactly. Continuing that discussion. So Puig's awareness and aggression gets the Dodgers an insurance run. Peterson aboard with the infield single. That is his 3rd hit of the day. So both Peterson and Kemp, 2 guys we were talking about coming into the afternoon struggling the last couple weeks. 3-hit performances.
Another guy at the plate needs to get it going too. Yasmani has struggled, 133 or so over the last couple of weeks. Earlier in the broadcast, I mistakenly took Yasmani's statistics of late and blamed the slump of the Dodgers on Bellinger. I was wrong. I had another lefty in mind, and that was Grandal, who had been struggling, so I apologize to Mr. Bellinger.
In your defense, Cody's 1 for his last 16.
I know, but before that he was like batting 400.
Now they did 2. The Dodgers with 4 unanswered against the Rockies bullpen. Just put to motion in the 4th inning today. Chad Bettis leaving the game with a flare-up of a blister problem. Randall catches a break here, and it's 1-2. And they're doing it against Adam Ottavino here, who'd given up 3 runs over his first 3 months of the season. He's given up 5 on this road trip. Two and two. Ground ball off of the glove with a dive from Story into right center. Peterson's headed for third. They're at the corners with 1 out.
This is a break. Yasmani right about on that step right there. As that ball gets through, his heart and confidence grows.
And up comes Chase Utley.
Hitting for the Dodgers.
He's going to get a new pitcher.
26, Chase Utley.
4 of the 5 batters that Adam Ottavino faced reached. A guy who's making an all-star case this year. Dodgers give him his roughest outing of the season. They lead at 6-4. They're threatening for more as the Rockies go a step deeper into the bullpen. By Energy Upgrade California. And by Carl's Jr. The tempting El Diablo Thick Burger has returned to Carl's Jr. Pick it up before it's gone. Mike Dunn, the new reliever for the Rockies. Dave Roberts had sent up Chase Utley. He was introduced. The counter move was to bring the lefty Dunn on. Dave Roberts counters with that. He'll send up the red-hot Kike Hernandez.
Mike Dunn just coming in off of the disabled list. This is his first appearance. So he's thrown right into the fire. Some upper back tightness. Some of his decelerators put him onto the DL.
How about the run, Oral, that Kike Hernandez has been on? One of the hottest hitters in the National League over the latter part of June. Last 18 games for Kike, 323 the average, 7 home runs. It's got Peterson at third, Grandal at first. And on the first one from Dunn, he takes strike one.
Kike's an example of how a struggling bullpen gets you the right matchup if you're on the offensive side. If Ottavino's doing the number, he keeps Kike at bay. Dave Roberts' hands get tied as far as matchups, but Ottavino struggles. All of a sudden, Kike can become the matchup.
Yesterday, he broke up the perfect game against Marquez with a home run in the 6th inning. Number 14, a career high. And his 4th in his last 7 games. He's been given a more regular opportunity. Run with it. And an 0-2 hole here. Dunn delivers. Hernandez swings and pops it high on the left side of the infield where Arenado waits. Hernandez on number 2.
Shortstop, number 3, Chris Taylor.
Here's Taylor. Going to head to the bottom or the top of the 9th for the Rockies. Still have the bottom of the order against that man.
He's been standing out there for a while, now starts to toss again.
One can only prowl for so long.
Most Lions, you know, and Tigers, they'll just kind of go over and lay in the shade for a while. He stayed on his feet.
You know, you watched Lion King last week.
Okay.
Strike one.
I've noticed your picture on Twitter has changed.
Yes, you've made me Simba. Chris is 0 for 3 today. Does have a run scored after he was hit by a pitch in the first. Runners at the corners and 2 out and an 0-1 pitch. He lays off an inside fastball.
Dieter Rule is playing Lion King.
Man, he is the king. Dieter Rule.
The day we arrive on the planet.
Are those the lyrics?
Yeah, that's.
I thought they were.
Lincoln looked into the sun. Well, that's the beginning, and I don't know those words.
Right, they're just sounds.
I don't know. Is he playing? Dieter's playing it now in the midst of his da-da-da-da-da-da in between. So da-da-da-da-da-da is the chorus.
Right.
And then you got the lyrics in between.
2-1. Here comes Dunn. Taylor fouls it off 2-2.
Things you do when you get 2 runs late to go ahead.
Leadoff home run from Matt Kemp to break the 4-4 tie. Puig comes in to score on an infield single from Jock Peterson with some aggressive base running. Now Peterson at third, Grandal at first. And on 2-2, a toss over. Grandal headed for second. He's in there safe, but Peterson is caught and out. So that's how this 8th inning ends, but the Dodgers get 2 to break the tie. Matt Kemp leads the inning off with a home run, putting a jolt through Dodger Stadium, which could only increase with a Wild Horse running free. 6-4 to the 9th inning as Kenley Jansen comes out to try and close it down. answered against the Rockies bullpen.
Since April 21st, about 24 days into the regular season, Kenley got on a roll. And boy, he has had his ERA come down a mile. 19 for 19 in save opportunities with a 1.15 over that time period.
Good bet he's headed to the All-Star game again. Tom Murphy, the 8-hitter, will start the inning off. After him in the pitcher's spot, it's going to be Charlie Blackmon, and then to the top and DJ LeMahieu. So will not be easy as the Dodgers try to avoid this sweep. Now with a score in Phoenix, if that holds up, try to get back to within 2.5 of the Diamondbacks for first. Murphy, who is 1 for 3 today, takes ball 1. After hesitation, changing the timing, changing the rhythm, he's in there with strike 1.
Kenley now with 21 saves, only 2 off the league lead, and the Padres are trailing, so Brad Hand, who's at the top, possibly won't get a save today.
1-2.
By the time they go to select the All-Star team, maybe Kenley will be on top.
Just gives Dave Roberts a little bit of supporting material if he decides to take his closer.
Remove a little nepotism.
Oh, yeah. Just off of the corner, 2-2. Big fellow from Curacao who speaks 4 languages. First it was Dutch, then English, then Spanish, and then the official language in Curacao, which Kenley's most fluent in, Papiamento, in grade school. 2-2. He struck him out, 1 away in the 9th.
Osmani could catch him in a rocking chair when you hit the target like this.
And now Jansen to face the birthday boy, Charlie Blackmon. Happy 32nd today. Not that happy, though. Strike 1 in the corner. Hope he has a wonderful flight home. Pop fly. Puig shading his eyes. He's got it spotted. 2 up and 2 down in the 9th. Matt Kemp broke the tie with a home run. 14th of the season for him. If it holds up, Daniel Hudson would be the winner. LeMahieu trying to keep things rolling. He jumps out of the way of a strike. And a generous inside corner. Daniel Hudson, by the way, since the beginning of June, a .060 ERA. Jansen lets it fly. LeMahieu bails out of the way, ball 1. Pirates are in tomorrow. Dodgers took a series from them in Pittsburgh about a month ago. Pirates had started to struggle prior to that, but they have really fallen on hard times. Strike 2. This would be a satisfying one. After falling behind in this game, 3-1 and then 4-2. On the verge of getting a comeback win. One ball and 2 strikes on DJ LeMahieu. Here it comes. That's it. 2 in the 5th to tie it, and 2 in the 8th to win it. 6-4 the final.
A hitless 9th from Kenley Jansen for his 22nd save. Double that number, and you get to the Dodger win total at 44.
And if the score hangs on in Arizona, they'll be within 2.5 of the Diamondbacks again. Matt Kemp responds to his slump with a 3-hit day, single-double homer. He drives in 4 of the Dodgers' 6 runs. They also get Max Muncy reaching 4 times, 2 hits, 2 walks. John Peterson had a 3-hit day. An all-around performance as the Dodgers avoid the sweep, snap the 3-game losing streak. For Orr Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. The Pirates are in town to open a 3-game series tomorrow. We'll talk to you at 7 o'clock for that one. For now, stay tuned. Access Sportsnet Dodgers, presented by your Southern California Ford dealers, begins.